don't need this. It's really just, yeah. But, yeah, you guys. The Friends Band. Hey, Ken, what time signature was that in? 5/4. Today is 5/4. Don't we have a brilliant band, band leader? Happy 5/4. Happy May. So we've got a new opening song for this month, God is My Source by Karen Drucker. So I invite you to stand as you are comfortable and able and join us. God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Let's do that again. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Love, love, love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yes.
Welcome, friends, to the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland. We are a community that teaches and practices spiritual principles to uplift and transform our lives and make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome. My name is Sean A.B. Larkin. My pronouns are he, him. I serve as a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Center. It is my honor to welcome each and every one of you here today. Thank you for joining us. A special welcome to anyone who may be with us for the first time, in person or in our virtual community space. We have welcome packets on the table in the back of the sanctuary. They look just like this. This same packet is also available as a downloadable PDF on our website at cslportland.org, so that those of you joining us virtually are able to access that same information. Both of these packets contain information about who we are, what we stand for, and how we might serve you on your spiritual journey. On this website, you can also find informational emails that you can sign up for. You can register for our classes, and you can also sign up to receive a free gift on your birthday, a complimentary practitioner session. We invite you to take advantage of that. It is our practitioner's honor to work with you on your spiritual journey and know the truth of your goodness. A quick reminder at this time, we do believe in the infinite connectedness of all beings. We ask that you disconnect from cyberspace right now. So any cell phones, pagers, Blueberries, Blackberries, tablets, laptops, cybernetic implants, or virtual reality devices. Please disengage them at this time. We don't want those chirping, buzzing, or beeping during the service. Those of you in the virtual community, please keep your technology on. I don't want you to get disconnected. All right, a couple announcements here, folks. First and foremost, I almost brought my lightsaber up. Science of Mind recognizes all spiritual paths. Today, May 4th, may the 4th be with you. It is actually, today is the high holy day of the Jedi faith. I do not believe the Church of the Jedi faith has received a religious status in America, but actually in the United Kingdom, it is a registered faith, and I believe the EU is tracking its membership. That's funny, but at the same time, on this day, I invite you, go Google Yoda's wisdom. Go Google Obi-Wan's wisdom, because that universal spiritual thread, that's what made Star Wars so powerful, is that actually George Lucas went and read Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces and wove in that universal spiritual truth. That's why we love Star Wars so much. At least the original trilogy. Okay, moving on. Our upcoming Wednesday night, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Our upcoming Wednesday night meditation will be facilitated by retired practitioner Kathy Batten, and it's titled Faith. Today I feel the certainty of faith. Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Zoom. By the way, all times I'm mentioning are Pacific. My most important announcement, it's time for our annual meeting of membership. This is your chance to stay informed about our community, ask questions of our leadership, and vote for board members. All Portland CSL members are welcome. Reverend Bridget and the board of directors will report on the state of our center, including our financial condition. And you, the members, will vote for 3 new board members. So it's a very important opportunity. Please plan to attend if you are a member of the center. This is Sunday, June 1st, 12:30 p.m. That'll be both in person here at the sanctuary, and that'll also be on Zoom, and we have a way to track voting in both of those systems. So we invite you to join us. This is a community-owned and operated spiritual center, and this is perhaps our most important time of year when we decide on our leadership, and also just come together to celebrate the goodness of what it means to be spiritual together. So we hope to see you there. Thank you. Very excited about this. We are celebrating Spirit as Woman. Our 2025 retreat sneak peek is coming up Sunday, June 8th from 12:30 to 2 p.m. at the center. There'll be a preview of the fall Women's Spiritual Retreat, and this was a very powerful yearly event that this community hosted before the pandemic. Obviously, as a he/him, I have not engaged this, but what I can tell you personally is seeing the transformation of the women that have gone to this retreat and then come back. And the stories they've told me and the stories they say, well, I can't tell, but you can see the shift. And there has been demonstration. So it's a very sacred opportunity. So again, I invite you Sunday, June 1st, 12:30 p.m. June 8th at 12:30 2 p.m. at our center. They'll have a sneak peek of that women's retreat. We are having a summer solstice sacred sound service. The summer solstice is a day where light and life are at their terrestrial zenith. Our ancestors around the world recognize this day as one of great spiritual significance, and we will honor that tradition, and we invite you to join us. The actual moment of the solstice will be occurring during this event, 7:42 p.m. So we will be doing a special ritual to engage that cosmic moment. I invite you to join myself and our lead practitioner, Catherine Richer, for this special event. Again, that's going to be Friday, June 20th, 7 p.m. here at the center. Meditation, handpan music, singing, chanting, a coming together in that vibration of oneness. We hope you can join us. That'll be here at the center and also on Zoom. All right. Upcoming educational opportunities. You can find out information on our website. We have some summer classes, but they're still far out. All right, some shout outs. Today, licensed practitioners Annette Bolster and Kate Barrett are serving on High Watch, holding a sacred container of consciousness both in the sanctuary and for our spiritual community participating virtually. Thank you for your service. Today, our special music features Lauri Jones and our wonderful Friends Band. Give them a hand. Harmony is a spiritual principle, and boy, do I feel it from them. Today's message, A New Birth, is by Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller. Please welcome them. Truly honored to have you here and be in spiritual service with you. Our flowers, courtesy of Kat Jacobs. These are just stunningly beautiful. And when we recognize beauty, it's because we already know what beauty is, because it's within us. So if you have a hard moment during the service, we're here to celebrate the goodness, and sometimes that means releasing some Shadow, I invite you to look at these flowers and bask in their beauty, because I do believe that beauty is its own medicine, and sometimes we just need a good dose of good looks. All right, my friends. I'm just going to give just a moment of acknowledgement. Here at CSL Portland, we practice science of mind, which says that universal spiritual truth moves through all faiths. I know many of us jokingly identify as recovering Catholics, but I do just want to have a moment of acknowledgement for someone that was a world spiritual leader for over 1 billion people that has made their transition, Pope Francis, someone that restored my confidence and my appreciation of the beauty that is in the Catholic faith. And I know that Pope Francis is with the divine now, and I pray that that world faith realizes a leader that is towards their good. And in knowing this, I release it, and so it is. All right, friends, now let's sit back and relax, because I know that somewhere between this beautiful spiritual community, our inspiring music, our meditation, and our message is exactly what your heart came to receive.
So I invite you to breathe into this space right here, right now, in this loving, sacred community, tapping into that divine God is, I am, right here, right now. And if you are so inspired, sing along with me. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Yes, right here, right now, in this infinite present moment, God is, and I am. God is that infinite presence, that unlimited love, that ever-flowing presence. And I am a part of that, and so are you. We are each an expression of this one life, this one love, this one truth. Thus I know, within each one of us, that light is already dawning. And it is good, because the light is good and it moves through each one of us. And as we embrace this new moment, this new birth, this new day, this new life that is always ours to claim, I know that our good unfolds naturally, gracefully, and poignantly as we embark on this journey together. With great gratitude, I release this prayer into the action of the law of mind, which works by principle through the intonation of our word. And together we say, and so it is. Now, friends, I invite you to relax into the silence and the stillness for our meditation time. At the very center of your being, witness the light dawn and know that you are loved.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of faith alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now. What a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
amazing. They are all so amazing, aren't they? The album that they were playing Take 5 from is called Time Out. I think that's cool. It was the very first record album I ever owned. Yeah. So a favorite piece, thank you. Oh my goodness. I get to be back here again. How fun is this? It's marvelous. I'm delighted. Whenever Bridget calls, I go, oh good. Goody, goody. And what a marvelous spring we are having. Oh my goodness. I've had the opportunity to drive all over the state of Oregon and down into California, Northern California, and around and then back up the coast. And oh, it's like I'm constantly in a thank you mode, right? So beautiful, so brilliant, so alive, so nurturing, so supportive. Oh, my. Num. And there are some issues going on in this wonderful world we live in. Yeah, a few of us have noticed, yeah. You know, one of the things that I do if I'm driving a little longer than the body really wants to be driving is I listen to the radio. Not always wise. And fortunately, you know, as I go through various parts of the country, I get to hear different parts of what's going on in radio world and radio land. And a lot of it is available through various forms of community radio and public radio and folks who are sharing what's going on in their intellect and in their communities. And some of it is, you know, people who are incredibly brilliant and are operating on a set of assumptions I cannot even begin to understand. And I follow their logic and I go, I see where you're going with that, but wow. Can you see the possibility of a different way of looking at it, right? And I'm beginning to realize more and more fully what I had begun to see when I was a practicing futurist years ago. And in order to see that person, I have to stand way over here. So I'm going to move around a lot. So when I was practicing as a futurist, we were knowing that this period, the mid-2020s, was the point at which everything that had been normal in the 50s would no longer be normal. And we are seeing that, aren't we? Yeah. So when I was putting this talk together, an image kept coming to mind. I'm going, no. Yes. No. And it's a little story that someone told me years ago. And that was the pair of twins in the womb. It's been marvelous. Totally supported, totally embraced, loved, cared for, room to wiggle around a little bit. And then they're getting closer and closer. And there's not much room left. And the fluid is getting kind of yucky. The amniotic fluid seems to be being polluted. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Do you believe in life after birth? You know, and then the contractions happen. And then they're really not certain. Right? But there is. There is life after every birth. Whether we call it leaving the body or whether we call it the end of the world as we knew it for the emergence of a new kind of world. It is time now. It is time when love is the root of our actions, not fear. The culture we've been living in is based on fear. And from fear comes the need for, the believed need for, control. When it's based on love, we don't need to control. And those of us who have been parents have felt that shift, right? When we're getting fearful, we're trying to control them. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. If you do that, oh, no, right? But when we're in that opening, loving, knowing that all is well and it's all love and we are totally nourished and supplied no matter what, and we've created safe spaces for them, then we can let them just be who they are. And we encourage their becoming who they are. Yes? Yes. Does anyone here remember being in the womb? Okay. Just thought I'd check. About 300,000 years ago, there were several forms of the genus Homo. We're finding more and more every year with the new archaeological tools that are out there. And all these forms lived in the womb of Earth. They were not aware, self-aware of being potentially separated from the all that is that they were living in, any more than the twins were in the womb in my little story, right? We're just there. We're just being. We're totally supplied and nurtured. We're embraced. We're supported. Sometimes there may be a little bit of a rough thing if something's going on out there that's weird, but we're not aware of it, right? And for all the variations on the genus Homo, it was be, simply be. Balance is normal. The universe is overwhelmingly supplying. It's easy. Summertime. They played Summertime while we were coming in this morning. And then about 300,000 years ago, and according to some models based on Zecharia Sitchin, that would be 350,000 years ago, because we're due for another visit in 10,000. That would have been when the 12th planet was close and that there was, sorry about that, bingo, there was something, a technological something. And what we don't know, there, we're back. What we don't know is exactly what happened, but have any of you seen an image where a guru or a shaman or a Christian healer taps someone on the head and there's this huge wake-up? It's kind of like that happened. And this form of humanity, the anatomically modern human, Homo sapiens sapiens, was beginning to operate on this planet. It was almost instantaneous. It was while all these other variations were happening. Sapiens sapiens is not only knowing, but knowing that we know. We are self-aware. Some of you may recall that movie 2001 and the big thing and the waking up. Might have been like that. So now we have the awareness that I am, and that's there. And I am not part of that, and yet it's not, somehow it's related to me, right? So we think what has happened for the last 300,000 years is that Homo sapiens sapiens has had to reunite the frontal cortex with the rear cortex, if you will, the back cortex, the left brain with the right brain for 300,000 years. 350. Well, during that time, the ice ages happened, and all kinds of wonderful things were going on all over the planet, shifts, changes. And it looked like some of those folks, based on the evidence, it looks as if some of those folks went into the ice fields and followed the big herds, the mammoth, the woolly mammoth, right? And the large animals that were there. and had great tales of how it was when we were bringing down this huge animal, and then they could take some of the meat home and take more of the meat home because it was a natural ice box out there. And they could bring it home to the cave and tell the great stories about what happened. We encountered this monstrous being, and so did this, and so did this, and the final thing was this, and it was just fascinating. And they were telling stories about this around the fires while they were in between hunts. And then the ice began to recede. And with the receding of the ice begins to be the receding of those big animals. And the fear of losing our source of supply. And the realization that, well, we don't just have to follow where they're going. You know, we could kind of encourage them to be where we are. So we shift from following big animals to herding somewhat smaller animals. And we start seeing the beginning of herding of horses and cattle, and then smaller and smaller all the way down to goats over a period of several 100,000 years. And the stories remain the same because culturally that was how we entertain ourselves. This is all going on in the very far north of this planet. Meanwhile, as things go south, the glaciers are beginning to recede, right? So there are new valleys opening up and new beautiful verdant landscapes. And people can settle down instead of trying to find the food that has been moving around so much. So we begin to get what I call the river gardening cultures. And these are people, Homo sapiens sapiens, who have felt separate but know that they can work with natural processes. So when we celebrate solstice, we are working with the natural processes, right? And as people began to do that, there began to be that sense of partnership and mutual independence and support and sharing. And that was the cultural norm there. So up in the ice area, it's, I am the big hero, and I am herding, and I have bulls and horses and all kinds of ways that the male is in charge. And in the river gardening villages, it's, wow, well, you know, women tend to do this better and men tend to do that better, and let's get together on the holy days, right? And there's none of that sense of anyone is in charge. But what begins to emerge in that gardening village environment, and we can see it in all the indigenous cultures today, is that those with special gifts get to lead in that area, in that area, in that area. And different people have different kinds of wisdom, right? So I might have plant wisdom. I might have fish wisdom. I might have earth wisdom, right? I may be able to share this. And some people somehow manage to hang on from before that breakthrough 350,000 years ago, that awareness of the one of which we are part. And that intuitive knowing that we are not separate from all that is. And it's usually about 1% of any community that has this. And those people would be specially honored, especially at the times where we're celebrating the balancing. And the woman that is especially honored at that time is honored in what we call the month of May, particularly, for she embodies the nurturing, supportive presence that is all around us, always. Now, as cultures evolved, and we got cities, and we got temples, and all of that, that person was called the high priestess. It used to be called the medicine woman or something like that, the wise woman, the head woman of the village. And in the Old Testament, we see that Miriam was that woman when Moses and the people leave Egypt. Miriam calls them to dance and celebrate that we are in the one and we are free. And that's the last time we see the word Miriam in her story. It lasts a little longer than that, in the whole Old Testament. So, those of you who have read the New Testament and have ever looked at a book called Strong's Concordance may be aware that, oh my goodness, there are 6 women named Miriam around Jesus. But there are none before that. That's weird, right? So, because people periodically ask me what I think about various things, I go off and do some research, and I end up writing a book that I'm calling Madonna, Magdalene, and Beyond, to understand who and what this Miriam being is, right? So as the story unfolds, the glaciers continue to move away, and along about 8,000 years ago, we see some of those people coming out of that area who are strong men, bulls, who want a lot of cows. And there aren't any. There aren't enough. So they start coming out, and it's about every 200 years. Coming out of that Caucasus region. The Caucasian men come into the valleys where smaller, darker people are sharing and knowing and supporting each other with the wisdom of the elder woman, the priestess, if you will. And the men come in, and there's no room in these people's awareness, in the village people's awareness, there's no room for someone coming and taking things. Who would take? We're all here. We all have plenty. Right? But they take. And they take, and they take, and they take. And over a 6,000-year period, we see a shift from independent villages to city-states with someone in charge. So about 6,000 years ago, 4000 BC, we have the first recorded empire, a network of city-states, a guy named Sargon. Interestingly, he had to tell a story that he was born of the goddess. And that he was found in a basket in a river. Oh, we've never heard that story. It was the only way that the local people would accept him, as if he was directly tied to the all-nurturing Great Mother that is everywhere present. Because that one woman in every community that was in touch with that kept reminding them, we are supported, we are nurtured, we are supplied, because our mother, the earth, or the great mother that the earth is the manifestation of, is loving us always. And we are living in the womb of the earth. Unfortunately, though, that message kind of got buried. Kind of, sort of. And only indigenous cultures, of which there are very few left, but that used to be all that there was 6,000 years ago, but now we're down to 100 or so that are able to live the way that they were born to live. They haven't been colonialized by us. They haven't been empired by us. They haven't been, shifted into this way of thinking that there's a guy in charge and we all do what he says. What's really interesting about right now is that idea sounds pretty ridiculous. 50 years ago, it wouldn't have sounded ridiculous. 100 years ago, it wouldn't have sounded ridiculous. But we have come to a point where we get that it can't be that way. That either it's a mutually interdependent, mutually supportive system, or it fails. All the science points us to that. All the history points us to that. All the empires that have formed since 4000 BC have failed. Every one of them. In some ways, this is the last little niggling bit of the old Roman Empire. As we work with this idea, it's almost always a combination of pollution, garbage, and the sickness that comes with those, the using up of the immediate local resources, and the constant expansion to get more resources and using up those and more and using up those. And that's why Canada knows that what Trump is talking about is we want their land and their resources, because we've used up most of what's in this part of this continent, right? They're seeing that traditional empire pattern, and more people are going, traditional empire patterns don't work. And part of why that is happening is because Homo sapiens sapiens is mutating. And we are becoming Homo spiritualensis. Some say Homo spiritus. That is, we are no longer so concerned about what's going on in the left frontal cortex, but we're paying attention to the whole rear portion of the brain, where it happens that what we call the God spot is located. That place in the brain that feels the oneness and knows that we are totally supported and sustained. And when we are in meditation and prayer and in the right place in the music, and you've already had it at least once already today, we can be that. Yes? That's what's going on now. Now, it was necessary for the globalization of intercommunication networks to happen for all of humanity to get to this place. Does that make sense? So even though there are a lot of things that empire culture has done that I do not like, the fact of it allowed us to get to this place. So just like the amniotic fluid becomes polluted in the womb and the infant begins to realize there's got to be something better than this, we are going through that now. We are going now through that process of being really uncomfortable that allows us to choose to move into a state of being that is freedom from love and from knowing. So there was the womb state prior to Homo sapiens sapiens where we were totally unconsciously in it. Then there was this state of becoming that has been this last 350,000 years that is becoming aware and doing a lot of shifts and changes and waking up to possibilities. And now there is this time of being aware and totally connected and interrelated and supported and nurtured and supplied. Are you up for that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How do we get there? There's a question mark on my title today, right? A new birth question mark, right? Because some of us will choose not to go there. Some of us will say, this is so uncomfortable, I'm out. And that's okay. They'll work from the other side. They don't know it yet. But they'll be working with us and for us on the other side of that veil, which is almost gone, by the way. That very, very, very thick veil between life and death is almost dissolved. And that is part of being homo spiritualensis, or spiritus, depending on whoever decides what language we use. Being the spiritual beings that we are, totally aware of our unified beingness on this glorious planet that is the embodiment of nurturing love. And aware that who and what we are does have the capacity to move a mountain with a thought. We don't need to build a big machine anymore. Can you consider that possibility? We are constantly using telekinesis. Our bodies are the material manifestation of our brain, our mind. We are constantly changing matter. We may not realize that there isn't this glass walking toward me because I called it to me, right? But wow, I just made all kinds of interesting material changes, didn't I? We are telekinetic, and we have that capacity all the time. But we've been taught we can't, because in a culture of fear and control, don't let people know they can do that. Right? Did anyone see John Travolta's movie Phenomenon? Yeah. I loved it when he's reaching for the wrench and the wrench just comes to him, right? Yeah, that's us. It's just his tumor dissolved the blocks, so he was doing what we can all do. What we can all do. We are all telepathic. Rupert Sheldrake's studies show it over and over again that 80% of the time we know who is calling when they are calling us before we pick up the phone. We may or may not acknowledge that we know that. That our bodies, and the Institute of Noetic Sciences has demonstrated this, our bodies change physiologically when someone somewhere else, totally disconnected from us, has thoughts about us. And if it's positive, we wake up, and if it's negative, we shut down. Isn't that interesting? That's why we do treatments. We're all telepathic, and we're all telekinetic. We have just been trained not to. So the Miriams that were surrounding the man we call Jesus Christ all knew these things. They knew that the universe is energy showing up in various forms of matter. They knew, Mary the mother knew that Jesus could make water into wine. That wasn't an issue. She had taught him. Miriam, the mother Mary. Miriam, the sister of Martha. Miriam, the wife of Cleophas. Miriam, etc., etc. 6 of them. And the most important one, the one who is always taller, and that tells you they're most important, is carrying an alabaster jar because she is the heir from Miriam the mother of the position of the wise woman, the head woman for all of Israel, and must be the one to anoint the King of Kings. And we call her the Magdalene. Wow. The Templars knew this. They created chapels to the Magdalene and to John the Baptist because they knew that Jesus had to stand in for John because Miriam Salome, had caused John the Baptist to be publicly executed but didn't have everything in place for his resurrection. So Jesus had to step in. That's the Templar story. And with that, then the Miriams are there to make sure that the public execution moves to the resurrection. They're holding the energy. They know, they understand how this works because it is all one whole. And so, in my book, I lay out the possibility and I'm going to run it past you and see what you think, okay? So this is the possibility. We have 6 powerful women who are healers, who are transformers, who hold the harmony of the villages and the lineages that they come from. And they are following this guy who is now anointed as the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Messiah. Messiah. And the time is coming. The Passover festival happens to be happening at the time that all astrologers, and everyone at that time were astrologers, know that the sun will be eclipsed. And the closer to the equator you are when the sun is eclipsing, the more likely there is going to be an earthquake, and besides, we're all telekinetic, so we'll make sure that happens. So it's a little tough. You got to time it right. He has to enter the city. He has to get that Sanhedrin really mad at him. He has to get everything in place. They have to get everything in place. They have to have the Passover supper so that he can tell all the disciples, the 12 and the 72 and the 360, all the things they need to know, right? And then he has to be in an isolated, lonely place where the soldiers can come get him. So they get it all set up. And the Miriams are all wide awake, holding the energy for this the whole night long. And then it happens, the soldiers come. One of the guys goes, no, 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 and grabs a sword and cuts off the guy's ear. And Jesus says, don't do that, puts the ear on, and then they keep going. What? Nobody pays attention to that piece of the story. And they go through the whole crucifixion process. It's very public. Everyone is involved. I won't get into the details of all the names and what they mean. But then it happens, and he's up there on the cross, and it's 3 hours before the eclipse. They finally got him. And all the women are wide awake. They haven't stopped. They're holding the energy. All the Miriams are there at the bottom of the cross. They're standing there at the foot of the cross, knowing they have to hold the energy, just like our practitioner holds the energy for us, right? And they're holding the energy, and they're seeing what can happen. And they make sure that he is getting all the support he needs. And we won't go into why he can do what he did. That's a whole other story. But when he gets there, he's there, and they're holding the energy, and he is able to, in this dire physical circumstance, be forgiveness. And there is where any last barrier he might have had to being able to be what they have called for him to be, to happen. And 3 hours on the cross, instead of 3 days, which is what it normally takes, the eclipse is happening, and he has given up his spirit. It is finished. The eclipse happens, the earthquake happens, the veil, the curtain in front of the Holy of Holies breaks from the top down. Can you imagine? I mean, it's on this bar, and it breaks from the top down, tears apart. Now everyone in the temple can see the Holy of Holies where God is living in the dark earthquake in Jerusalem on that day. And so the gals are right there, all the Miriams. They have the necessary linens. They wrap the linens, and they put layers of herbs in between. Guys can't handle bodies. If you ever see a picture of the guys handling dead bodies, forget it. They can't. It's illegal in Israel, especially not during Passover. So these women are doing all of this work, and they lay him on something, and then the Roman centurions put him in Joseph of Arimathea's cave that he set aside, and the stone is put in place. And now the women really get to work, because they have to hold the knowing, even though they've just wrapped the body in mortuary linens. Whew! And they do. For all of the next 24 hours. And the next 12 hours. And then in the pre-dawn light, which was illegal, by the way, Magdalene heads over to the cave. with more anointing. Now, here's an interesting little piece. This particular drama, apart from the eclipse and the earthquake and all of that, has happened every time Venus has transited the sun, all of the times to make the flower of life, for 3,000 years before this particular date. It's woven into empire culture because it's part of how the river gardening people will be kept into the culture. What has happened here, though, is they don't have the official prince, the official emperor. They have this upstart rabbi from the Judean province, and he has been anointed, and he is doing this process. And the formula for the high priestess to say in front of the cave on the morning of the third day after the public execution is, "Where have they taken my Lord?" If he's been resurrected. He had been resurrected many times in previous cycles of those 3,000 years. And he was in this one. But it's dark outside. It's not really light. And she can't see that he's standing right there. And so it's not till she hears the voice that she realizes that the love of her life, that is, the person that she is destined to be with for eternity, is right there, standing up. And that it worked. All of their effort worked. Putting together all the pieces from the actual history, the archaeology, and the biblical story, that's how I frame what we call Easter. And there's more to it than that. But the Magdalene is one of many Miriams who have always known, always, that's their essence, that who we are is so much more than we've been taught. And we are no longer stuck in that limited sense of self. For the last 10, 15 years, there have been a lot of stories about the Magdalene. In fact, there's a copy of Dan Brown's book in there. I noticed that today. A lot of stories about the Magdalene. And in fact, there have been at least 15 different channeled works that are her autobiography, and they all have a different story. I'm fascinated by this. I finally accepted, well, maybe there are multiple universes, and we'll go with that. But the essence of all of them is, I am not who you were told I am. I am, in fact, the embodiment of the Divine Mother. And so are you. And Jesus said, I am, in fact, the embodiment of the Divine Father, and so are you. And that is the birthing we are going through now. To become the embodiment of that divinity with all of that capacity, with all of that understanding, with all of that wisdom, all of that knowing that is who and what we actually are. And that's why you come here on a Sunday, to wake up at just another little notch, another little notch. And I've been talking far too long, but I really appreciate your moving with me on this, because I know that you are the seeds of the culture that is replacing the empire now. Thank you.
Easy act to follow. Thank you so much for that erudite and inspiring and yet grounding masterclass. Truly a blessing to have you here, Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller. Another round of applause, please. So blessed to have you here. I have some Googling to do this afternoon. I don't know about you. My sacred study is going to be bountiful today, so thank you for that. So, on to my duties. Friends, this is now our time to invite you all to engage in that sacred practice of giving. Thank you so much for your gracious giving. Your financial gifts enable us to be together in this beautiful space, to enjoy our wonderful music, be inclusive of our spiritual communities participating virtually, and to support community nonprofits. They allow this powerful teaching to be known so we can continue to grow and be an expression of spirit in this world. In a moment, ushers will come around the sanctuary with a basket to collect your gifts. If you like, you can use an envelope provided in the seat backs, and we welcome financial donations from our spiritual community online. You can find out how to donate online at our website, cslportland.org, under the Donate heading. Ushers have stepped forward. Let us now accept and bless our offerings together as a call and response. I bless these sacred gifts.
I bless these sacred gifts.
Given graciously with love.
Given graciously with love.
These gifts bless, heal, and prosper all they touch.
These gifts bless, heal, and prosper all they touch.
In giving, I am grateful to be richly.
In giving, I am grateful to be richly,
Lavishly.
lavishly,
And abundantly blessed.
and abundantly blessed.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Now please welcome our musicians again as they bless us with harmony.
So I've got my goddesses up here with me, Michelle and Kristen. Thank you for that wonderful, amazing, impactful talk, Rev Ruth. Just perfect. These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive all the gifts of the goddess? Love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to receive? These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, I am ready to receive all the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, I am ready to receive. Love, I am ready. I am ready. Joy, I am ready. I am ready. Peace, I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to receive. If you know it, sing it with us. These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, I am ready to receive all the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, I am ready to receive. Compassion, are you ready? Are you ready? Forgiveness, are you ready? Are you ready? Laughter, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to receive? Oh, passion, I am ready. I am ready. Success, yes, I am ready. I am ready. Abundance, I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to receive. These are the gifts of Yes, I am ready to receive. I am ready to receive. All the gifts, all the love, all the joy. These are the gifts. These are the gifts. These are the gifts.
Ready to be transformed, I invite you to come up and do a quick prayer with the wonderful people who are wearing a white stole, because they have the knowing of this truth of our being, right? And they're always here at the front at the end of the service. And if you're online or if you just want to write your request, there's a prayer request there, and there's a way at the website, right? Yes. And you can do that at cslportland.org and realize that all those requests get distributed to these people that know, yes, and feel it and be it, just the way the Miriams knew with and for Jesus. Yes. All right, so I'm going to invite you to stand, because I love to do this piece. And we get to do this benediction together. So, something wonderful is flowing through me right now. Your turn.
Something wonderful is flowing through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
And life is in all my affairs.
And life is in all my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I am it.
I am it.
Just the way I am.
Just the way I am.
And it says just the way I'm not. I am all that is here and now.
I am all that is here and now.
Yes. Yes. All right. We are never alone. We are totally immersed in this beingness that is the mother, the great mother, the all that is, the Father. It is all one, and we are it. The divine presence of love moving in us, through us, around us, always. And anytime we might forget that for a moment, we just breathe. Yes? Go within and remember, we always have been, always will be, and always are the love we've been seeking. For so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
All right, our closing song for this month is I Release and I Let Go.